watch and wait for Heaton to call it here and go. I think he might have already gone already.
Looks like he has, and he's no stranger to Caterhams. He's been doing this for several years. I think he's been racing as long as I've been involved, sort of following and commentating on Caterham racing. Initially, back in when I first started, back in about 2014, 2015. He's been someone I've known for quite a while, and he's got plenty of Caterham experience, even at the highest level in the Caterham 7 UK Championship, which is officially sanctioned. Basically, it is a British Championship because it has the word UK in it. So that's officially allowed by Motorsport UK. So he's literally raced at the highest level of Caterham race you could have in the UK, the official top-level championship. And that's even been at times on the Toka package. I spoke too soon. That's 2-1, isn't it? Because that's Henry Heaton skating off the road at Wilson Hairpin, locking himself up into the hairpin. And despite the experience, whether he hit a patch of something slippery or possibly just brake too late, whatever it was, hit the inside curb or locked the inside front, went skating off the road, just about went onto the grass and came back on again. But again, all that hype and bigging him up, and all of a sudden he goes skating off the road. He won't let me forget that later on, and that's just lock-up. It's a huge one for Paul Goldstein as well, the all-gold Caterham #1. Gold by name, gold by nature, but that's a huge lock-up to flat spot that Toyo tyre, and he carries on. So they're pushing to limits these ones, but Henry Heaton had that great restart, and all of a sudden locks the outside front, and it all goes to nothing.
Indeed, yeah, you say gold by name, gold by nature of a Goldstein, but currently he's in the silver position there in second place,
yes,
benefiting from Henry's off-track moment. Henry diving up the inside there, looking to make up more places, and it has resulted in contact there with the 58. What a shame they're getting chucked off the way, and that is Warner, Rob Warner there, getting chucked off to the side of the circuit there as they headed through Oggies. It was a little bit too late there, diving up the inside there. Understandably so, frustrated from that earlier incident, that mistake down into Wilson, looking to make up places quickly, but maybe a little bit too aggressive there through Oggies. And sadly, it's Rob Warner, the one who falls by the wayside because of it. A shame.
It is, and Heaton carries on. Warner out of the race. Whether or not that will prompt yellow flags at least. Whether it prompts another safety car remains to be seen if race control will decide to make that move, because we have already had one where that car is further out of the way and in a spot where it's not deemed to be too dangerous. It's on the outside of an exit of a corner, so the cars are accelerating, but it's quite off the racing line in a position I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem, I would suspect, hopefully, but we'll wait and see. If it was a more high-speed section, maybe like the back straight, I'd understand it, but I'm not the car of the course and official, so in that sense, so not my decision to make. So Max Haynes, who takes over the lead after the mishap for Henry Heaton, leaves this scrap behind for second place. William Van Es is up to second place. That's a pretty decent run for him, considering where he was in yesterday's race. And he got a top 10, right towards the bottom of the top 10. More scrapping going on behind. One of the PT sports car machine got very sideways, trying to get past somebody in a three-wide move. And Ian Howes is getting stuck in too. Ian Howes, a local favourite, based in Norwich. He's got experience of racing mostly in BMW, what was the Compact Cup, or in the Compact Cup cars. That championship now being called the BMW Super Cup, because it's now a two-class championship with the Compact Cup cars and the 1 Series Super Cup machines. And Howes, of course, taking to Caterham racing pretty quickly as he heads down towards the Agostini hairpin. Goldstein now under threat on the outside for William Bryant, and behind him also is the car of Hughes, Peter Hughes, number 16. That's him in 6th position, and the rest of the pack from 7th place downwards, all stacking up line astern. Caterham's in the heat haze as they then come down towards the right-hander at Oggies corner. And now we see more of this gamesmanship begin with the Caterhams. Of course, this slipstreaming battles where they'll have punched such a large hole in the air getting the toe, as they then charge down towards the complex at Brundle and Nelson. We'll see who else is willing to put themselves in the toe. There's number 3 also going well, Stephen Clark. Won yesterday's race from 14th on the grid. Now, the safety car won't have helped his progress, but he is up there in the top 10, and if he can keep on moving forwards, in fact, he might be higher than that. In fact, he was 9th. Is he higher than that possibly? I think he is. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. No, he's still at 7th or 8th, but Paul Goldstein has been the one that's been shuffled back. He was 3rd across the line. Now he's about, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th at the moment, and Clark is now 8th. So he's now past, it looks like Peter Hughes. And also there too someone looks to be Brendan Maud, I think, in the 8th position. So we'll see how that one plays out as we go towards the end of another lap. We've still got 10.5 minutes left on the clock in this second JMRG Caterham Graduates Championship Signal 150 race. And for Henry Heaton also, a quick check, back in 14th across the line, but trying to make more progress. He had been hindered, of course, after his contact with earlier on with Rob Warner up at the complex.
Indeed. It seems as though that earlier lock-up through Agostini for Goldstein has really hampered his progress here. Dropping back into the pack, he's looking to make up a position there up the inside into T1 and does so through on the 16 of Hughes. And back up then properly into the top 5. But again, we're fanning out down into the braking zone. There's a thought there for second place. And it will indeed chase in. Howes picking up another position. Into P2 he goes, and Goldstein remaining firm there in his defence to try and hold position. But again, this squabbling is just allowing for those drivers ahead to continue to scamper off further up the field into, effectively now, another postcode really here at Snetterton. So lovely breakaway earlier on from Haynes, sees him hold that gap at the sharp end, with Howes now having to defend down into Agostini to keep Van S behind. And here, the defence from Goldstein is causing chaos for the group behind. Your race winner of Clark, though, getting his way through the order really nicely, and now almost at the front of this next train. Here they go through Hamilton. Clark going side by side, but will find himself now on the outside line through the right-hander of Oggies. No driver diving in to make up a cheeky place, so Clark's able to hold firm where he is. But indeed, Goldstein very much being the cork in the bottle here in this battle for about 5th place backwards.
Hughes trying to Caterhams in typical Caterham fashion as they come onto the Bentley straight. Let's see how many positions we change. Well, one might be about to change as they're darting out. That looks like it was possibly Ben Winrow moving forwards, or one of the two at least, Brendan Maud. Max Haynes, meanwhile, in car 99, turns his way out of Nelson. Twitch as he hits the curb. Scrap on for second as William Van Es has got back past Henry Heaton. Goldstein, meanwhile, is holding everyone back for 5th position. Rob Warnes fishy has the way. There's contact. Looks like with, I think it was Stephen Clark hitting the back of Brendan Maud's car, I think. As Stephen Clark that goes around the outside to take the place on that, possibly Maud or Winrow, one of the two. As the pack continues to hold through. William Van Es in the Golf liveried car in blue and orange. Then it's him in second place. Howes in third, Bryant in fourth with the fastest lap of the race. Now we should look also at lap record, shouldn't we? Because given the fact we had the lap record break in the Sigma 135s, what about 150s? Maybe we can look back at lap records information. You've got that on your notes we can have a look at. The lap record was a 208.376. They're not quite there yet. It's 210s they're running at the moment. So they're getting close. Henry Heaton's at a 208.843. That's half a second off. So with a tow, with enough of a pack, they're getting close at the moment.
They are indeed. Of course, we've already seen that lap time absolutely smashed in the 135s. They're getting close here in the 150s, but a lot of battling going on. No one really able to settle in pace, particularly in this squabble, as we see heading through your screens. Still from about 5th place downwards, and where does this gaggle stop? About 14th. So we've got 9 drivers involved in this massive foray here through down the bottom ends of the top 10. We look further forward, though. This is a move back up the inside for second place, looking to get the up and under, though, before they even get to the apex. Was the 127 there of Howes, but he has to give that one up, and Van Es moves his way back through into second place. I will say, even with those 3 drivers battling aggressively, as there's one driver chucked off to the greenery and sadly out of the race, it seems, parking up beside the barrier. So I think that bit of contact has caused something to break there. They are trying to rumble along there over the grass, but sadly doesn't look like they're going anywhere particularly quickly. What I was going to say is this battle for second, despite them squabbling as they have been, they are closing in on your race leader of Haynes at the moment. So Max had that lovely breakaway to begin with, battled through to the lead really well, started to pull a gap, but he's quickly being reeled in here. Even just down the Bentley straight there, you saw how much of a gap he lost as they then headed into the braking zone.
That's how powerful the tow really is in Caterham racing, particularly with these cars. You said, I've said the same analogy you used yesterday as well that you coined, I actually really liked. These cars' front ends, they are slightly shaped, they are a little bit aerodynamic, but the front ends are pretty much like a bullet with the tip shaved off. It's kind of it's a slightly blunter front end, which means they do cut quite a large hole in the air. The roll cage will do that too as well, of course, punching quite a large hole. And of course, right at the back of this queue will be William Bryant there in 4th position. If he gets the tow from all 3, he can get a massive slipstream and a massive speed boost from the 3 cars in front, which will mean he has an opportunity to even pick up at least one spot. Cross the line goes the top 4 together. A huge gap to the back to 5th position. And S has taken the lead. So down the pit straight with better momentum, Max Haynes has been hoodwinked and he's lost the lead. For 5th position, it is now Brendan Maud who's going to cross the line ahead of that pack, with now Clark up to 6th, Goldstein down to 7th. It's then Hughes in 8th, Smith in 9th, and Amanda Anderson up in P10. So good effort from her so far. Biggest move of the race as Haynes goes back up the inside to take the lead, and Morris brings Howes with him. Biggest move of the race so far appears to be upwards is the 86 of Smith. Oliver Smith started 19th, is up to 10th, so which is impressive. It's up 10 spots. The biggest loss so far is the car that's down in, I think, about 30th odd position, which I think is McCall, who started in, looks like 8th position, and he's way down the fact. McCall in number 50 is now down to the tail of the field, having not come through yet in number 50. So he's dropped down to 31st if he's still running, and last of the runners still going right now. Leaders back into Hamilton once again. This is now lap 6, or lap 7, 6 laps in the books. Still just up to 5 minutes to go. See some more cars in the foreground we're going through. Oh, and I thought there was one car possibly kicking up some dust or smoke, and there it is. Can't quite say exactly who that is, but someone's gone grass tracking on the exit of Palmer. But again, the example is here, whether it's towards the front, in the middle, or towards the back, even locking up into Agostini, there's always somebody to race with. There's a huge battle pack here going on for lower positions. Let's see if we can look at the numbers on these cars. 66 and 15 are in this one. This is for 17th, 18th, and 19th positions, also in there too. McCall, in fact, is in there, but looks like he's got a faulty transponder because McCall is there right there, in fact, in the kind of the turquoise number 50 machine. And he's in the top 20, so a faulty transponder probably is the issue. Back to the leaders. And, Howes to take him a lead now. And that was Van Ness going around the outside of Haynes to take second place. And also for third up the inside goes Bryant in with the rookie cross on the back of the car. So from taking the lead of the race down the pit straight, it is now... No, he was leading onto the pit straight going onto this lap, but Max Haynes at the back of the queue. But we said he'll get a massive speed boost now from the 3 cars in front. So don't be surprised if he repasses Bryant. And Howes misses a gear also, so it means he loses 1 spot and 2 and possibly 3. 4 for the lead down the pit straight with 3 3/4 minutes to go. And genuinely, it is anyone's guess which this quartet will win it.
Yeah, 3 positions lost there with that little miss of a gear, but immediately we'll use the slipstream to try and fight back there into Richards once again. Well, we switch round once more, and it's your rookie cross driver of Brian who takes to the front then as we head through onto lap number 8. Still just under 3.5 minutes left to go, and those 4 fighting like it's nobody's business here to try and steal a race win in race number 2 for them across this weekend. But like we've said so many times, there's battles up and down the order, and we struggle to know where to look here. It's so fantastic in Caterhams, and it continues on here into the Sunday. We press on down then, 2x2 formations down into Agostini once again. Inside line for Haynes, and trying to follow him through there is Howes. He'll just about dive into the apex first. We'll squeeze Bryant out to that exit curb, but Van Ness, apologies, it is on the inside, being aggressive side by side through Hamilton's always a bold maneuver. Squeezed out onto the exit curb there goes Bryant, and he does have to slot in behind. So Van Ness able to get back into second position then, as Bryant there following on behind in 4th in this squabble. So continuing to reshuffle here at the sharp end between these 4, but Haynes now once again with a slight bit of a breakaway. What were we saying? End of the previous lap, he's dropped down to the back of this train. Well, is immediately he's straight back to the front of it and trying to make a bit of a gap. Well, Bryant and Van Ness then, I believe it is, going side by side down into the braking zone, and they head through Brundle and Nelson once again. It's anyone's guess, as Scott said, as who is going to win this race. These 4 continuously chopping and changing, and they're manoeuvring around so much. Honestly, this group from 5th place backwards starting to close in. If it wasn't so aggressive between all of them as well, they might have a chance here for a top 4 finish, but I think they're pretty focused on each other at the moment.
That, and also there is only less than 2 minutes to go in the race, so they're going to go on to the last lap of the race this time by. So Max Haynes leads it on to the last lap of the race. Will he be there by the time he gets there next time on this lap? Stephen Clark's got to the front of the next group with Maud, Goldstein, Hughes, Smith, Anderson and co in the mix. Across the line go the leaders then, and here comes Howes to the outside line towards Richie's corner. Can my local favourite go round the outside and take the lead? He's thinking about it, gets the up and under if he can, watching for that, but Haynes popped it right on the apex because he knew exactly what was going to happen. Van Ness defends from Bryant on the exit as he runs wide on 3rd position. Down towards the Wilson hairpin they go. Stephen Clark also defending heavy from Maud and Goldstein behind for 5th place in that second group of cars. This is really where this could be pretty intense. They come back towards the left-hander at Palmer's. Again, looking up the inside for second. Haynes is back in front, and Howes couldn't quite make that move stick. So he's now sat back. He's lost his right rear wing, but it's not slowing him down too much. You can see Haynes trying to break the toe. Bryant looking behind Van Ness in the blue and orange car. The two-tone blue car of Bryant with the rookie cross in the background, going round the outside of Van Ness if he gets the chance to do so. Gets the little rub on the exit and gets a gear. He might get a toe from Howes in front, and he does, in fact. And S decides he's not going to go side by side in towards Hamilton's. As Howes goes on the attack, he's thinking about a move inside, then outside again, but no room at the end to try and get through. But he's in a perfect position, John, to try and make this move stick if he can. Onto the Bentley straight for the final time. Clark heads the next group, followed by Maud and Goldstein and co. But this could be the chance here, Ian Howes, if he can make this stick with one more race to go later on this afternoon, if he can possibly take a home victory in his second race of the season here in 150s.
Indeed, let's wait and see then. Bryant a little bit wide there through Hamilton's. That's going to lose in the momentum down the back straight. But yeah, it's on, isn't it, here as to how they reshuffle at the sharp end. We will go side by side into the braking zone, all the way around the outside from Howes. Can he get it stopped at the apex though? He'll go a little bit wide, carries the speed well, looks to tuck back in, but not able to do so. Has to stick in behind as the 99er Haynes. And really, there's only one more opportunity here down through Coram. They'll continue on, nose to tail. And we've got Van Es getting involved in the background as well. Sadly, that bit of sliding through Hamilton's has knocked Bryant out of this battle for the top three. Van Es looking for it through the final corner. It is going to be Howes who holds on to it then. Through they go to the checkered flag. It will be a run to the line. Lovely exit here for Howes, and it's going to be almost side by side across the line. Who's going to get it? It's Haynes at the line. What a battle there in the Caterhams. Absolute photo finish yet again. 0.08 of a second, but Haynes gets the drag out the final corner and gets the victory.
He does. That was an excellent classic catering finish. And what do we say? Ironically, the worst place you want to be on the final lap of a catering race at the last corner is in the lead, because you never guaranteed you're going to stay there. And Max Haynes proved that. Even though Ian Howes had the position, Max Haynes timed it perfectly, got the toe, and he beat Howes to the line to take the victory by a mere 0.080 of a second. 0.08 of a second at the line, less than 1/10 of a second. That is a typical catering finish all day long. Haynes takes victory in race number 2 in the Sigma 150 class from Howes in second place. And it was Bryant in third place, S in fourth. Two blue cards, easy to try and confuse
Yeah,
them.
and they both have novice crosses as well, which made it even more challenging. But yeah, it was Van Es that had that wide moment through Hamilton's, lost the time. Yeah. They just couldn't quite get back involved with that top three.
That's it, absolutely. So Bryant gets third place. He'll be pleased with that. Of course, rookie, taking, I guess it must be his first podium and his second ever start, which is brilliant if that's the case. William Van Es gets fourth, better from yesterday when he was 10th yesterday. And Brendan Maud actually won the battle in the second group behind from fifth backwards. He gets fifth position ahead of Stephen Clark. And what was the gap between them at the line? Even closer, 61,000 of a second between Maud and Clark to take the final top 5 spot. And Clark, Goldstein, Smith, Hughes and Anderson in the top 10 as well. So Max Haynes takes victory by 0.08 of a second from Ian Howes. William Bryant takes third from William Van Es. Then Brendan Maud, and it just beats Stephen Clark to fifth position by 61,000 of a second. And it's Stephen Clark, Goldstein, Oliver Smith, Peter Hughes and Amanda Anderson taking a top 10 in P10. Henry Heaton, after his incident and runoff at Wilson Hairpin, recovers to 11th and takes the fastest lap of the race, followed by Elliott, Barrett, Gibson, Witten, Gould, McCall, Raymond, Hoare, Ewings, Molson and Isherwood Crook, then Edward Benson and Barry White to round up the top 24. And then for 25th downwards, we see the rest of the pack being scrolling through from our TSL timing results, and we'll see Will Price, Robert Appleton, Fraser Riddington, Mike Waitman, Richard Dixon, John Evans, and the three non-finishers, Ben Winrow, Rob Warner and co. I think we yours to James Sibbett as well. But P1 on the top step of the podium once again for Max Haynes. An excellent job for him, and he'll be talking to Rob, and of course, as he will, our top 3 from our second 150 race from the catering graduates here at Snetterton.
And a very happy Max Haynes here, just doing his hair, a bit like the cameraman and the reporter. Max, fantastic race. That's catering racing in a nutshell, right?
Yeah, it was brilliant. You know, obviously really happy for the win. Didn't think I drove very well. I broke the toe and let them get back onto me. Bit of work to do on the car for the third race. But look, a win's a win. Happy with that.
A win is definitely a win. You were on the podium yesterday and you were happy and you said there's bits to improve on. What did you improve on from yesterday? I mean, you say you didn't drive very well, but you're on the top step.
Yeah, well, yesterday I could feel a bit of understeer coming into the car. We tried to do some slight changes to it, not make it too drastic, but it didn't help. It went the other way. So, bit of understeer, bit of front locking. Mechanic's going to be busy over the lunch break.
Certainly looks that way. Congratulations on a fine win there for Max Haynes. Let's get our second place man over, Ian Howes. We like to get the BRSCC backdrop. Too many drivers running away. But Ian, a fabulous second place. Congratulations. How was that for you?
Yeah, very good. Hard work. They said come catering racing because it's as close as it gets, and I think that was a good case for it.
I think that was, if you want catering racing in a nutshell to advertise it, it was that race, right?
I think so. I felt good from where I was, but I can't speak for everyone else. But yeah, amazing. So good.
And this circuit as well, the wind conditions have actually changed yesterday, so it was coming across the circuit, so is there a bit less of an advantage?
Well, this is my home circuit, so I know the winds quite well, so maybe it helps, I don't know. But you didn't feel a lot there today. There's so much towing going on that you're kind of more caught up in that than the crosswinds or anything else. But yeah.
And you've got a race coming up later on. What's the plan?
try and do the same again. Maybe one step further.
Well, I was going to say, one step further.
Why not? Let's aim for it.
Fantastic, Ian. Great to talk to you. That's our second place man right there. Will Bryant, come on over, sir, in a beautifully prepared car there. I'm liking the blues, and he's got the race suit to match. Will, fantastic. Overall podium.
Yeah, it's great. First podium. Really happy about it. Just great fun racing these guys. Just pushing to get a bit higher up next time, hopefully.
Well, you got a race later on to do it. What do you need? What changes do you need to make?
I think the car's pretty much where it is. Just need to get in a good position off the start and then just push on from there. Try and make up some places.
Definitely try and make up some places and kind of adjust the pack mentality and try and be in the right place on the last lap, right?
Yeah, hopefully. We see how close it is. Just being in the right place at the right time can win a race, really.